What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy MX Style. This house going down. In this episode, we'll be talking about the crypto.com DeFi, which is massive. If you have the capital for it, then you need to dive right into that pool because ultimately the gains there are going to be ridiculous.
DeFi, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Having money on my mind, I have the money in my pocket. Bone marrow roasted, spread it on the rosemary bread, lightly toasted, drizzle with the vinaigrette.
But anyway, let's have a look at the market. We can see here Bitcoin is holding above 10.3. ETH is at 370, and Tether $1. What a surprise! Chainlink holding above 12.6, which is good to see. And Polkadot is it's made a little 3% push in the last hour or so. Crypto.com has had a nice 5% pump, and that is because of its DeFi feature that is just added, so we'll get into that just later on in the video. So looking at the biggest pumps, we have Celsius Network. So I've found out about Celsius, and what they're doing is it's quite similar to crypto.com, so I'd recommend you guys to look into it. Ultimately, this token is very, very cheap, and for the upcoming bull run, it's important to diversify, in my opinion. Yearn Finance, we have seen, or I have seen them being listed onto Coinbase Pro. I saw that on sorry, I said that pro kind of loudly, pro. Sorry. But yeah, we can see nice pumpage across these several different coins. Maybe not Decentraland so much, but ultimately there's been nice pumpage. Looking at the biggest losers, we have Ample for a surprise. So now, guys, if you wanted to, I wouldn't say necessarily to enter it now, but it would be a good time to wait for this to cool down, because ultimately anytime Ample is underneath $1, it's undervalued. This rebate, it always rebases to $1 basically, so this may go down to like 50 cent, 60 cent, who knows, but like ultimately it's going to go back up to $1. That's inevitable. That's a fact. Okay, so up to you whether you want to have a quick gain on that or not. Just looking at my Sun yield, what my farm has yielded me. So just to let you know, guys, I've only, when you're playing with DeFi, I only play around with profit. I don't put in my initial investment in anything, well, other than what I'm investing in. But with this, I've mined 0.448 Sun, and that's been just over 24 hours, let's say 30 hours, 35 hours or something like that. Ultimately, this is just going to be sitting there for in the next 6 days or so. So I'm hoping to get at least a couple Sun token. I don't know what the value of a Sun token is going to be worth, but you can see here that there's been 8.2 billion locked up. 8.2 Tron locked up in this protocol, just so that people can mine Sun. So I know what I have is minimal in comparison to what other people have. Like I have 20k Tron in this contract. Other people have Jesus Christ, and it just jumped again. But you see what I mean? It's just jumping and jumping. Anyway, looking at the news, we have French central bank chief eyes public-private partnership for possible digital euro. So this could be very, very bullish. Ultimately, we've seen China discussing a digital yen as well. US, I think they've also been discussing that. Britain have been discussing it, and now Europe have also been discussing it. So if you guys want to have a look at that, then I'll leave the link in the description, as this wasn't the main focus of today's video. Also, we have Singapore man being caned for stealing 267k from Bitcoin investors. So god damn, I'm not gonna go over the whole article, but basically this guy, he's been sentenced for 3 years. He's a 29-year-old guy. This guy, on top of getting prison time, he also got flogged with a cane. That's so sad. He deserves it. You think you can imagine someone tries to steal 365k from you? Boy, I wouldn't even tell the authorities. You know what? I'd straight do some what's his name, Liam Neeson type Taken thing. Just wrap him up, put him in the back of a van. Guys, but anyway, that's only if someone tried to dark me for my life savings. But that would never happen ever. Anyway, looking at the CME gap, we have Bitcoin here being at risk of falling down to the CME gap, and if it was to happen, it would not be the end of the world, guys. We'll look at the chart a bit later on at the end of the video. you can see here, you know, we are, according to the article, you know, well, not just according to the article, it's a known fact that we dipped 17% in the last couple of weeks or so, and ultimately, you know, people are looking at the CME gap. You can see, well, I've seen that the search for the CME gap in Nigeria is just ridiculous. Like, and if you look at Google Trends, you know, you see that data for yourself. But you know, people have been saying, like, the more people want things to happen in crypto, the less it happens. Like, we've seen that with, you know, going above 12k, and this isn't an exact science, by the way, guys. Don't, you know, take this as me saying, oh, just because people aren't thinking that we're not going to touch the CME gap, that's not going to happen. I'm just like talking about what's going on in the space. But ultimately, who knows what can happen? You know, we did go to 9.9 quite recently. You know, all it would take is like, I don't know, like a £1,000 dip, but I'm hoping it doesn't happen. I personally think it won't happen. I personally think we're just going to trade sideways sort of thing for the next couple of weeks or so, next couple of months, and then the alts will pump and continue to pump as they have been, and then ultimately Bitcoin will have this breakout. But who knows? That's just my personal opinion. So looking at the main feature of today's video, we have DeFi Swap, which is a new feature for the crypto.com app/web interface, and ultimately, most likely you can do this on your phone. That's if you have Android, that is. But ultimately, this, you know, the crypto.com coin Crow is a ERC20 token, so ultimately it goes well with DeFi. Like, you will need a MetaMask to do this, and ultimately, well, unfortunately, I don't have enough capital to sort of do this because my spare capital is locked up in Tron. But yeah, if you guys wanted to have a look at it, so you can basically, oh, sorry about that, guys. You can basically, there's different features, you know, they have, but basically Uniswap's liquidity is like overtaken coin market. Uniswap's liquidity, sorry, has overtaken coin, what they called, Coinbase. And ultimately, guys, like, since then there's been like a spark between all of the, you know, CEOs and all these different companies and whatnot. So like, you've seen Binance, well, you haven't seen it, I'll put something on the screen. Binance, they have Binance Swap now, or BiSwap, whatever it is, BSwap, and like, that hasn't been as popular. You can yield farm on there, but it's only with like stable coins. They only have like 3 or 4 pairs. It's like a 22%, you know, gain for the week or something if you do on that sort of basis. So like, if you guys were interested, you know, if you do have Bitcoin or whatever, you can go on the crypto.com app. You can take a loan against that Bitcoin. This is something I'm considering doing, by the way. Take a loan against your Bitcoin, your ETH or whatever. Unfortunately, most of my funds are locked up in fucking getting interest. But the funds that aren't locked up, I'm planning to, you know, take a loan against that. And then I would deposit that on like a platform like Aave maybe, or even Binance's BSwap, or maybe even something like this, you know. And then I can earn an extra yield on the money that I have. The only thing with this is that basically there's different lockup periods. So to get a boost, you have to, well, not just a boost, there's a lockup period from 1 to 4 years, and ultimately the longer you lock up your funds, the more your boost is. So if you lock up your funds for 4 years and you deposit, I think it's 50 million Crow, then you can get a 20x yield. There's a DeFi calculator here. Like, the minimum I believe you can stake is 1,000 CRO, which is, I don't know, like $150 maybe, or something of that ilk. But ultimately, you know, you can earn a decent amount on here. Like, you can earn, if I was to stake this for a year, I would earn 200%, sorry, and I'd earn 4,000 CRO, which is currently like 4/8 of, sorry, not 4/8, what's wrong with my maths? It's currently 4/5 of, you know, what I currently have in CRO at the moment, just under it. But yeah, you can see if I was to put this, you know, to 2 years, that goes up to 2.6x, and then this goes up to 3x, and then this goes up to 4.4x. So ultimately, it's quite risky, but it can be also quite beneficial. One thing to note as well is that there is like a harvest sort of lockup period. So I think for them, I can't remember the exact figure, you guys will have to look at the white paper, but for the people who have staked the most, basically, you can get your funds after 30 days. And then for the people who have staked, you know, lesser amounts, then you'd have to wait 3 months before you can then get the interest on your yield. But ultimately, you know, they've done that to sort of protect the price of CRO, as you know, most DeFi platforms, they tend to you know, use the liquidity of different tokens, and then they provide, you know, like their native token, for example. With the crypto.com platform, they've had to sort of do this in a way that protects and holds the value of CRO, because if they were to have, you know, no lockup period or whatever, then I would believe that you'd see a price dump for CRO, and you know, anywhere from like a day, 2 days, however long, you know, because ultimately, if people are depositing 50 million, or if you can deposit 50 million CRO, then like, to put that into perspective, let me just show you this. So to put into perspective 50 million CRO, I don't even know how much that is, but I'm guessing it's quite a lot. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Jesus Christ, that's like $8 million, which is a lot of money. And ultimately, you know, with DeFi, the more you put in, the more you can make. So yeah, everyone's hot for DeFi, guys, and don't be like annoyed that you can't do this, because there's so many different types of DeFi, guys. There's so many different types. Like the fact that you can lock up your funds on the crypto.com app is DeFi. The fact that you can use websites like Ethereum Capital and, you know, make 1% on your funds, that's DeFi. The fact that, you know, you can swap tokens without an exchange on Uniswap, that's DeFi. So there's many different types of DeFi. So don't you know, have FOMO just because you can't get in on like the newest thing. Ultimately, it would be nice, but like, just go at your own pace, guys, because this cryptocurrency space is so innovative. Like, there's no need to, like, you know, stress. And I'm also talking to myself here, as well as, you know, preaching to the crowd here. So yeah, that's that. And then we're also going to do some TA as well. So looking at the daily chart for Ethereum, we can see here, you know, Ethereum is basically broken out of this what I believe would be maybe a symmetrical triangle, and yeah, we're headed back up, or I'm hoping we're headed back up. So what I believe, you know, is this trading channel that we were in for quite some time before we saw the dump. And ultimately, you know, with the little trading I've done, I've noticed that, you know, with the 10-day and 20-day EMA, whenever these two lines cross, we see, you know, the corresponding action. So whenever the 10-day goes above the 20-day, we see, you know, bullish action, and whenever the 10-day goes below the 20-day, we see bearish action, like so. So ultimately, I believe, or I'm hoping, that we do see another bullish crossover in these two EMAs, and then we start to head back to the, you know, this most common VPVR line, which is also one of our Fibonacci retracement levels at the $388 mark. So that would be very, very, very nice. But yeah, it's anything can happen, to be honest, guys. It's not really clear which way we are headed. And then looking at Zilliqa as well, so this is just on the Binance chart. So we are still underneath our Fibonacci retracement line, and you know what I mentioned with the 10-day and 20-day EMA, you can see here, you know, we are still somewhat bearish. You know, even looking at the TSI, the true strength indicator as well, we are still in the bearish territory of Zilliqa. But however, I do believe that, you know, the bearish momentum seems to be coming to an end, as these two lines, I believe, are, you know, going to cross in the next couple of days or so. And then if we can flip above the 10-day and 20-day EMA, as well as, you know, the Fibonacci retracement level that we were holding as support for the longest, well, not the longest time, but, you know, for several months, that would be very, very good for Zilliqa. But yeah, ultimately, in terms of the VPVR, this is where the most trading has happened in the last 2 months or so. But yeah, I want September to be a nice month for crypto, not just dump. It'd be nice to like wake up on my birthday and have like a fat like 20% pump in my portfolio, but who knows what's gonna happen. So yeah, that's that. Looking at DigiBuy real quick. So looking at DigiBuy, sorry for the Fibonacci lines, but I think it's on a different chart, but you guys don't really care about, do you? Anyway, looking at this, we can see here we are above what I believe to be the 0.5 line. But yeah, we are still in bearish territory for Digibyte as well, according to the TSI. But much like Zilliqa, this seems to be coming to an end. So we can see in the past where we dipped below the negative or the neutral territory, and we saw like a bullish crossover in the TSI lines. We then saw a nice pump in the price of Digibyte, sorry. So we can see here, according to the Fibonacci retracement, if this upwards trending line was to hold, ultimately this, you could argue, would be the market bottom. So if you did want to enter a Digibyte position, or you do hold a Digibyte bag, then this ultimately could potentially be the bottom of our dip before we then go on to set another high or so. But it's not financial advice. Anything can happen with crypto, guys, and it's just my technical analysis on this chart. Ultimately though, I would like to see us, well, it is nice that we are holding above this dotted line here. It does show somewhat bullish action. I don't know why I'm stumbling over my words today. But yes, you can see here, I believe this is the golden pocket. We did have a nice retracement into this level here, and ultimately we pumped quite heavily, had a retracement, and we're now in this 0.618 to the 0.786 mark. And ultimately I'm hoping, not to say it will happen, but I'm hoping like I have been saying, that we do respect this upward trending line, and we do start to bounce like so. However it happens, and then if we have another peak or whatever, or we just continue to go up slowly, or even sideways before we then go up. I don't really mind, to be honest, but I just don't want another dump. But to be honest, guys, this dump that we had is very healthy in terms of the market, because ultimately you saw with Chainlink, if a market goes up parabolically, is that a word? Like, look, this was just ridiculous. Like, it went up. It went up here 1.7x in 17 days. So ultimately, that sort of price movement is not sustainable, and that's why the price then came back down. But it would have held steady above the 20-day EMA, but the market did dip. So ultimately, Chainlink is more bullish than Digibyte and Zilliqa, because like we're barely below the neutral line for the true strength indicator. Like, one line is above it, one line is below it, sorry. And ultimately we are respecting one of the Fibonacci retracement levels. Apologies, I don't know what retracement level it is, maybe the 0.6, but yeah, it's looking good for Chainlink, to be honest. I'd say now there's consolidation phase before it then goes on for another bullish move. So yeah, have a look at that, guys. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, smash the like button. If you're new or old, and hit subscribe as well. I'm trying to diversify the content. Also, let me know what you guys want to see and want me to talk about, because ultimately I'm stuck talking about Digibyte and Zilliqa at the moment. I try to bring you some crypto news as well, but it seems like, oh, my last video, boy, you guys did not like that. Got 12 views. That hurts, I put in 3 hours into that video. I got 12 views. Jeez. Anyway, guys, that's been the video. Yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.